Hey everybody.
Hello, hello. We promised we were going to do a recap, and I think we found a moment where baby's napping, and sort of. And we could come outside, forget about the mess that's in our house right now, and just talk about what an amazing weekend Take on the Road 21 was.
Yeah, it was the most challenging year to us because of being not being well. This whole year with all the COVID restrictions, potential, doing the conference, not doing the conference. Coming off a year where we completely were forced to shut down because no place would have us here in Ohio. So.
Don't mind me, I'm just going to share to our.
You have to put it back. Okay. You may have messed it all up.
Okay.
There we go. All right. So yeah, this year was super challenging. That's okay. Nobody's watching live, so we can go back and delete all this and restart. So if you're not watching this live, we're gonna delete this because it's absolute trash because we have no mind still. But yeah, so this year by far, doing everything. The brand new system that we've been working, trying to get all this stuff together.
Yes.
What a crazy year. So
it was hard. It was really hard. Being at a new facility, we had only visited Heartland once in late of 2019, and so we had a hard time understanding the layout of the whole entire facility, and it's expansive, much larger than what we had accounted for.
Yeah, because originally when we went there, if you guys came, we went to all the different stages, but we were carried around on a golf cart. Yeah. So it took like 30 seconds to get there. It was so fast. But we didn't get to walk that until the week before, and we realized, wow. But then there was no other place that we could do all of this stuff in. So
right, and the event guide and the schedule was already set in stone. It was already going to be headed off to the printers. So,
and we didn't want the kids walking that far, so that was kind of the only thing to make it work. So we apologize for that super long walk. Although when you got down there, you got some really great information. So.
I was joking with some of the guests there, and I'm like, I should have marketed Take on the Road 21 as a weight loss event because you get to walk miles every day, you get to eat healthy, you get to be around positive, uplifting people, and that just makes for the greatest weight loss retreat.
They had the ability to eat healthy. Plus, then they had the ability to gorge on all that stuff. Yeah, so it was, wow, what a conference from the beginning to the end.
Yes. Thank you, Austin, for your comment.
Yeah.
We worked hard.
Even though Thursday didn't work out the way we wanted it to for the food, and ended up being a huge loss, but that was okay. I think the food overall was great. Everybody enjoyed the food, and man, George rocked it as always.
As always.
So we were super blessed to have George do that. Those of you who got to go worship with Rob Blackwell, that had to be a great experience. Out in the woods, right in nature, doing worship with Rob. So yeah, that had to be. I got to go down there. It was a nice time, and so Thursday it kicked it off really well, I thought, and then the chaos began. First thing, Friday morning, sessions running every day.
Yeah.
So if you guys were part of that, you guys knew the challenge because we made the schedule so difficult on everybody. What to choose, but we are working on that. So those of you who have asked, make sure you watch this video because we're going to go through all of that. We're going to be releasing all the videos. I believe almost everything got recorded except for the first day at the Hickory stage. We had some technical difficulties there and weren't able to get it recorded. Some great information there. So we're going to try to get those people to do that presentation again and upload it to Take on the World TV. So that would be my goal, to get people to do that because they already have the PowerPoint. They just need to put together that on video. And
so currently all the recordings need to be edited a bit. So we've got various individuals working on that. and then we're going to post the ones that we can on Take on the World TV on YouTube. So if you aren't already subscribers to that channel, please go over and subscribe. That way you get notifications when they are released. On some of the videos that we know YouTube are just going to automatically flag us and take down our channel, we are going to create maybe a Rumble account. I think that's an easy one. And put those specific videos. That would be mainly Dr. Munzo's and probably a handful of others that we're going to put onto Rumble and have the same Take on the World TV channel on Rumble. So we're working on that, and we'll get those released as we can.
Yeah, so if you guys have not made it to Take on the World, ask one of these people. Hopefully your page, if you haven't come, is being flooded with everybody's Take on the World photos.
All the pictures, all the videos.
That's, every time we go to Facebook, that's all that it is for us.
Yeah, and if you haven't joined our community group and want to learn more about the conference, see more of the content that we share within our group there, it's Take on the World Community Group. You can find it on Facebook, and we can accept you once you answer those questions.
Yeah, make sure you answer those questions, because we won't accept you if you don't, unless if we know who you are. So,
yeah.
But then you're just being straight up lazy if you don't answer those questions. So, yeah, so Friday went really great. A lot of great presentations all day long. Saturday, for a lot of people, was the highlight.
Yes.
Because of the health stage, the Cosmos stage. Cosmos stage was absolutely packed. The health stage was absolutely packed. So we had great Q&A. We had the Bible Q&A panel on the main stage, Cosmos Q&A panel, and then the health Q&A panel. So those were absolutely amazing. Everybody loved those.
And with the teens, we did tie-dye t-shirts. So we're rocking our tie-dye. For all of those who did attend, and if your kiddos did not go home with a tie-dye t-shirt, I have a few that made it into the Lost and Found. So I'm going to take some pictures of all the Lost and Found items. We have a large amount this year. And I'm going to send that out in email. So if you happened to misplace any Oxen t-shirts, or a whole bag of t-shirts that were from Standstill that were in a Call of Duty spiritual warfare bag, we have those. We also have a random leg brace. So if you're missing a leg brace, let us know. We have it. And a bunch of other little random things.
It'd be a hard one to forget. So.
I'm surprised it was forgotten, but it was. So we've got it.
Yeah, somebody left, I think it was, $5,000? So, hey,
we never found that.
So, yeah, so...
Just kidding.
Saturday was a big highlight. I think it was one of our great information days. And then that led right into Sunday. Sunday became, by far, everything that we intended. That Arise and Equip, started to become in that fullness. And we know, you guys know the name of the conference being Take on the World. We can't take on this world and all the craziness if we aren't arise to the situations that are going on. So we must know about those things and be and be woke to those things, right? And then we can't achieve taking on the world if we're not equipped. And a lot of times this year, it was, are we spiritually equipped? Many people who've come to our conferences before, including ourselves, everybody, we may know certain things. We may know, what's going on. We may have some idea. Everybody's got their opinions, but we all probably have some sort of, we're already on that truth journey, but we're all bringing our baggage with us, and there's no room for that baggage. He can't use us when we're bringing that baggage, and many of us, including all of us, we still have that baggage. We still have things that he can't use.
We're broken people.
Yeah, and
we just are.
So Saturday, as you guys are going to see in the presentation, or Sunday in the presentations, the theme for the first couple of days was a lot of things dealing with addictions, like with Janet Miller, and she spoke again that Sunday morning on part 2, and pretty much had her whole entire group crying every session, And even Rob Skiba, the first night of Overcoming Anger, Fear, and Depression, sort of kicked off the tone for the weekend. And thanks, Rob, for doing that. You know, I know that laid on his heart. You know, he said, you know, he kept hearing, you know, my people need healing. And, you know, before we can move forward in this crazy world, I think that is the truth. We absolutely need healing.
Yeah.
Many of us have left everything we may have been familiar with in the past to come to more knowledge, and that's just Gnosticism, guys. And, you know, it's really coming back to this complete puzzle in the faith and in our journey. So, you know, Sunday night was kicked off by Nathan Reynolds, and Nathan always does a really challenging talk, and he did some amazing things. But then it really got started when Tom Dunn got on the stage to talk about spiritual warfare and all the things that his ministry Through the Black is about, and that started to set a new tone. Right after that, Jeremiah Dirt came on the stage and showed a video that's like 5 to 6 years old that he did as a hip-hop artist on suicide, fear, depression, and he led right into an opportunity for prayer and deliverance. And that sort of now set the tone for the rest of the conference. That led into probably what was like an hour and a half prayer, deliverance time. We had different ministries up on the stage, or below the stage, that you could just come up and get prayed for. And a lot of people were coming up, you know, 50, 60 people came up to get prayer. And one woman in particular dealing with ritual abuse was having a real deliverance session of a demonic force. And, you know, that definitely took some time, and that was happening right there, and people were getting exactly what they needed. They didn't need new head knowledge. They didn't need to know, you know, things that they already knew. They needed some real healing and deliverance. And so that began right there on Sunday evening. And then when that was finished, Rob Skiba was to take the stage. And Rob was torn to do the presentation or not to do the presentation. And you can actually see that. I don't think this part got recorded, but it's in what's the name of that channel? I just forgot the name of that channel. Wildly, somebody can put that link in there. But it was by Morgan Caldwell, and
she was recording. I didn't
she
realize
recorded that, and so that part, Rob's talk is in the end of Rob's talk is in there, and that kicked off the rest of the evening. Rob did not do his talk. He had an unbelievable talk that dealt with aliens, the Book of Revelation, prophecy, the whole thing. It was dealing with the
Wildly Unpopular.
Wildly Unpopular. There we go. I couldn't remember right off the bat. But if you go to that channel or go on to the Take on the World community group, the link is in there. And you guys can see Rob's chat at the end right now. And that led to another probably hour and a half, 2 hours, where everybody got together, and people with different ailments and different issues would come up, and they would just be prayed over. And everybody got probably 15 minutes of prayer by a huge group of, 40 to 70 people. Who knows how many were in there?
I missed it. I was doing all the glow fun with the kids.
Yeah, so
I saw the pictures of everybody laying hands on one another in one huge group.
Yeah, lots of tears, lots of crying, lots of people being healed. The testimonies coming out of that were amazing. So, we did all of this work for Take on the World, which was like this much, because at the end of the day, he was just waiting to do a good work from the little bit of work that he told us to do. So, and he showed up in a big way, and people, for some people who walked away saying this was their best day in their lives in the last 5 to 10 years for some of these people. That's quite humbling for us, because we're just doing the work behind the scenes.
Yes.
And
I'll be honest, it was hard. It was so hard this year. All the planning that went into it was time consuming. It was basically my full-time job for almost a whole entire year, getting it all together. And then being there, I ended up orchestrating all of the kids' stuff, and shout out to Amber Plaster for helping every single day with all of the kids' crafts. We went from after breakfast and morning worship to the young kids program, doing the crafts for an hour with them, a little wild. And then we went to the teen program right after, doing a version of the crafts with them for a whole nother hour.
With 2 babies.
Well, all the while, at the end of that, all of our babies just crying, needing to be nursed, needing their mamas, so running back to feed them, get them settled, and then I ran back to those kids, helping them with games, taking them from place to place. I mean, it was insanity.
And as crazy as that was just this amount of work. That's all we were supposed to do, is just do what we were called to do. So thank you for everybody who did their work, but it was really to give him that, it's really, he gets all the glory for for showing up and doing what he had planned to do that whole time. So that's what we're so excited, that's what we were.
It was
so
a labor of love and a complete sacrifice on everybody, all of the volunteers, on Marla and Trisha helping out at registration, just rocking that. I cannot thank them enough. All of the parents who helped out last minute as I pulled them to do games.
Yeah, and all the people who had to help out with
our sound.
With the sound from Malav.
Yep,
Tony,
recording.
Tony was a huge help. He had to. I was talking to Tony. This was normally he spends most of his time fellowshipping, like 90+%. This year he was 90+% in being in the sessions. So
he was in the sound
because he was in the sound room making
it all work.
Making it all work. Aaron Sampson, he helped out an absolute ton. He recorded the whole stage and helped on the main stage. Rob Blackwell, we could talk about him in a second, but he helped tremendously in the sound room.
We worked him like crazy.
Yeah, Mike Todd, he helped out at night. We had I'm forgetting some people probably, and I don't know why, but there, everybody from Rick Hummer bringing his camera, making sure that ran smooth.
Amazing people answering the call when we needed them, to be there, to help out, to sacrifice their time and fellowship time to make it all work, even though it was a little rough and bumpy behind the scenes. Everybody that I talked to that attended the sessions were like, it's great. This is just perfect. You guys are doing amazing.
We're like, no, it's failing.
I'm glad it appears that way.
Yeah, compared to 2019, we actually, we had a nice rhythm being at the last place.
We did. We had that down. It was like a well-oiled machine. And being at a new facility, it changed it up on us. And so now we've learned. We've learned how we need to make things different, make it even better. For the future, so that's exciting.
Whether we're there or somewhere else,
we have some really cool stories to share, though. There were so much.
Before you do that, let's make sure to thank everybody before we get off here, because
I wasn't getting off.
No, before we jump off, because
baby girl's away.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed that or not, but so big thanks to Gary and Faye. For doing the kids program again, for teaching there. So thank you guys so much.
We won't thank you for the whistles.
The whistle.
Of course, parents probably won't thank me for the shofars that the kids made.
Yeah, they could just put those on the mantle and take those out when they're supposed to. But then George Moss, thank you so much. You did the teen program again. You guys have done that since day one. And that was so impactful. Nathan Reynolds for helping out in the teen program.
And the kids.
Thank you.
The kids loved Foraging with Nature Nate. I mean, that was just spectacular.
Yeah.
All the little gems and finds and shells and everything that he brought. I mean, they ate it up. It was awesome.
And Michael Temperato, you stepped in when we overbooked Jeremiah Dirt for the teens. And so you did your testimony, and the kids raved about that, and so that was one of their favorite things. Yeah. So thank you so much for that. And all the speakers. There are way too many people to thank in the speakers list, but every single one of you guys were absolutely awesome.
They just brought it. The
Yeah.
presentations, wait till you see them for those who weren't able to attend, or even for me, because I never got to see a single presentation. I can't wait to see them.
Yeah.
I just heard rave reviews, awesome information.
Yeah, and big shout out to Rob Blackwell in particular. We ran you ragged. He was coming off of sickness, and right now he is sick again. So make sure you guys are praying for Rob. He's not well. The family's not well right now. So just pray for those guys that they have some healing quickly. That would be very important to us if you could just uplift those guys. But Rob did all of our morning worship along with Amber and Alex. You guys are always there to help. And then Rob ran sound. Rob also he spoke. And Rob also
He did music multiple times throughout the day.
Yeah, he did an unbelievable cover of a Larry Norman classic song that was written 50 years ago. So if you guys haven't seen that, check out that on the Take on the World community page.
That was phenomenal.
I'm going to put that on YouTube real soon. But that speaks so much truth and so much volume. But Rob did so much. He helped out with the kids, did worship with the kids. So Rob was super busy all weekend. So we are probably responsible for bringing down the immune system even more. And so he is sick. So please uplift him. I know Nathan Reynolds, we did the same thing with him, and he's still a little bit under the weather. But yeah, all the vendors, JJ, with your CBD rub, you were great. You were one of our sponsors. Of course, Head Honcho,
Head Honcho,
with Standstill. So Head Honcho .rocks is the website to go check them out and support them. They've got all those amazing shirts that you saw that you did not get. So go and get those.
Yep. And Amber had some awesome new jewelry pieces, and even those Take on the World, I don't know what you call them, some type of mug, sort of. So Amber, I got to find out if you have any more of those. We got to make some more of those up. They were so cool.
Yeah. So thank you to everybody, all the helpers, my mom, my sister, Heather Flat.
Micah Flat. Micah rocked it with the games, with the tumblers. Thank you. Micah rocked it with the games, with the kids. They loved him.
The Hazard
he did
and the
awesome.
Chavez boys.
Yes,
they were
Devin,
awesome.
Ian, Matthew, Trey. I think I got them all. They were like the best commentators for all of the kids' sports. They just loved you guys. So we are so appreciative.
So many people that helped out at the bounce house to help Ann with swimming. The baptisms, thank you guys for everybody who volunteered to help baptize people.
How many do you think we had get baptized?
Probably close to 50.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. That was on Sunday.
And our son got baptized.
Our son got baptized.
So that was awesome.
Such an amazing experience. I mean, there were literally multiple people in a row getting baptized at the same time. It was phenomenal.
And for so many people, some of those baptisms were so impactful to them because this was their weekend of true deliverance in their lives, from some salvational to some rededication, and other people just
breaking free from bondage that
has
held them captive for years, that they were finally set free from. I mean, it gives me chills to keep reading all of these stories coming in. And if you have a testimony that you haven't shared with us, I would love if you could email it in or message it in here on Facebook. You can email it to info@totwconference.com. It's just been phenomenal of everybody saying, this has been the most refreshing weekend for them because, 2020 just brought about a lot of loneliness and depression for a lot of people. And they were finally able to feel at home in a place where there was normalcy, and you could talk to like-minded believers. You can share ideas, get questions answered, and just have a sense of community and a place where you belong and you don't feel like an outcast. You are welcomed in and you found new friendships, even some new loves. We love it that Take on the World was a connection for couples to meet. I mean, we got a great marketing plan for next year, let me tell you.
Yeah, so it was, for us, it was super exhausting. We got didn't get a ton of sleep.
Yeah.
We didn't get much rest or peace there, but we are getting that peace now, because we get to see what just a little bit of our work that we've been called to do, just that little bit, and let him do the rest, and that humbling experience for him to show up and do that. And so that is what it's all about, and that's what it's for. And I know Take on the World will never be what it is for you guys, for us, but it is super humbling for us. And so hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and hopefully you guys got so much out of it. And for anybody who we may have offended all weekend long, we apologize for that. Sometimes
it's hard putting on a conference for close to 500 people. I cannot believe that we had the amount of people come this year. All this planning ahead of time, it's stressful. It's super stressful on us, knowing that the retreat center had us sort of contracted under a specific number of people staying on site, camping, staying in the dorms and all of that. Although we did sign sort of an addendum, and this is the story that I wanted to share. We signed an addendum that we thought we weren't going to be held to numbers due to everything that transpired in 2020. But as we looked back at the addendum, it was maybe a little different than what we had anticipated. So when we got there, they give us all of the paperwork for everything that we need. And one of the papers was an invoice, which gave me a little mini heart attack when I first saw it, but I stuffed it away and said, I'm going to put that out of my mind and just try to enjoy the weekend, and we'll deal with that at the end. And that's really hard to put out of your mind. I told Chris a little later, and we told a select few just to be in prayer. Be in prayer, because we don't know how we are going to rectify our differences with what we had come in and what they wanted us to pay them. So that was in the back of our mind the whole entire weekend. So not only were we stressed and pushed to our absolute brink.
Yes, as awesome as it was, the conference, like I said, it's different for us because we have to manage and do all these things, but it was the thorn, or that splinter still, that's in your foot, that you're walking around on, and you just
keeps digging,
that you can't get rid of. And when you go to rest your head at night, it's easy to say these phrases like "cast all your cares upon Him." Then you're starting to think, okay, what did our contract say? We got to go find it all. We got to do all these things while you're extremely exhausted. So, we didn't have. We had that always in the back of our mind, but we pushed past that. And just made sure, hey, this isn't about us. And by the time we got to Sunday, I was sitting there, and this was still on my mind, and all these things were happening on the stage, and I said, who cares? Who cares? If this affects our family, financially, or this affects us, who cares? This is life is a vapor, and we're here for such a short time. Why are we worrying about?
And it's all His. It's all His anyways. He gives, He takes away. It's all His. So we go on Monday morning was our meeting with the directors to finalize everything, and Chris headed out early.
But I was already sent in a good place. So if we were going to lose, we were going to lose. A lot, which we didn't have. And we have to figure all this out. I was already at that place where, hey, we'll whatever happens, happens.
So we were praying. We had, a group of others who were also praying that whole entire time. And we get into the meeting with the directors, and we start to run through all the numbers. And I opened up all of my Google Docs of the spreadsheets that I had been working on, and I said, here, you can see it all. We are upfront and honest. This is everything that we have. And so we started to talk through, all of who came and who didn't, and
all the amendments
yep,
and the contract.
And we were just sort of like, okay, so how can we make this work? Can we compromise on this a little and on that a little? And then Chris started to share some of what happened throughout the weekend, some of the testimonials that we had already come into us, of people pulling us aside and telling us. And then the main director, Lonnie, who was there the whole weekend, many of you saw him running around like crazy with us, making sure everything was okay. He said, I was sitting up in the sound booth, and this was in the main stage in the evening time when all the prayer and deliverance was happening. He was sitting up there, and that made all the difference in the world, because what he saw made him rethink everything and made him see that Heartland, the retreat center, their mission, their slogan is, what happens here changes the world. And although they do incredible camps, homeschool camps, family camps, all sorts of different camps, what he saw that night, the healing, the deliverance that occurred, changed him completely, and said, this is what this retreat center was built for. This is what changes the world. Who cares about, penny pinching over this and that? This is life-changing, and this is why we are here, and what we are all about, and what we need to be about. And after he said that, we were able to come together with our numbers and agree upon everything, and it was amazing. Let me tell you, there was thousands of dollar difference, thousands, that we had no idea how we were going to come up with, no idea whatsoever. And because he witnessed everything that transpired there, the Father worked on their hearts and allowed us to be blessed with not having to carry that financial burden, and being able to give it to them and agree. And they were happy. We were elated. We were all in tears, all of us. Their directors, Chris and I, we were just bawling.
I wasn't even in there for that part.
No, you were for that part. And then Chris left. I stayed. And we worked it out, and I gave him hugs, and I said, you made this possible. You took us on when other camps wouldn't. You took us on, and you allowed all these people to come, broken people come together, and finally receive the true healing and deliverance that they needed. You changed lives, and everything that happened here is going to change the world, whether it's the world that these individuals live in or beyond,
Now, we may not be invited back, but hey.
Well, so far so good. We haven't heard no.
So we don't know what the future holds. But hey, they were absolutely amazing. So thank you so much, Heartland.
Yes.
It was a great
incredible
experience. And I think that was for us. It was a faith thing. That he had it already under control, and that he was already working on figuring it out for us and for the conference and for the ministry moving forward and everything of that nature. But so our and that's the thing, we got nervous, we got a little scared, and that's a reminder to trust him. That's part of arising and equipping, is we're going to go out into this world, and yet if we're holding on to financial issues as like things that are fearing us or scaring us, look, we don't have a job anymore. Right before the conference, our job is over with, and if we're gonna,
so having that big of a difference, knowing that we don't have a job that we had relied upon,
yeah, but even at that means that we had, our faith was weak in those moments, and that we needed to trust him. So part of that conference this year for us was our moments that we didn't get to sit in, on deliverance sessions. We didn't get a lot of these things that everybody else got. Our moment of arising and equipping was have faith in me. He taught us lessons, and that I will take care of you. And what that means may not always look like what we think it should. Oh, I'm going to cover you. Well, in this case, he did. But no matter what, he was going to, that it was going to work out for his glory. And so, so I say that encouragement to you guys, because you're all probably dealing with, whether it be financial problems, whether it be, emotional, spiritual, family issues, right? It's all going to work out. And if we stress and don't have any faith, it's going to be a lot harder and a lot longer of a battle. I could have had peace on Thursday and said it's all going to work out, and never thought of it again until Monday morning, and wouldn't have thought of it, but I didn't. I let it eat away at me, and I let it do those things. So, I had the good thing is we were able to throw it out because we got super busy.
Yeah.
But in our moments of quiet, it was the first thing our minds ran to, is the first thing that we would talk about. We didn't, so hopefully that's encouraging to you guys, because by no way are we perfect.
No.
And so by, no means do we not lack faith, and do we not have these things. So hopefully, what you got from the conference, or what hopefully you get by watching it, talking to others that were there, and then hopefully coming to a future event. I think, part of our conference moving forward is going to be that time of prayer and deliverance with everybody. Not, a lot of people say, hey, we need to do this privately. This needs to be a private thing. And maybe for some people, that there should be some privacy to certain things, maybe more one-on-one. But as a whole, nobody was very uncomfortable sharing with strangers, because that's when the Spirit moved them to say, you need healing, you need deliverance, you need confession, to confess what you have done in some of these cases, or whatever. Not they were able to do that in more of a public type style setting. So that's probably one thing that we're going to be doing in the future, is something regular, because it happens at all these conferences with Russ Didzar and Tom Dunn, and all these guys are doing these things, and it's an element that we've never really brought in. It's an element, frankly, in this community of believers that we don't do anymore. You may have come from a church where that happened, and now you left that church, and we don't do that anymore. There's still power in that, and it's something that's desperately needed. And so
especially in the world we live in today, we all need to be equipped, because we all can help somebody
and our
else.
prayer is for those people who came up. Maybe next year you will be strong enough to be that person that prays over somebody else. And that is how Take on the World conferences makes differences, is that now we have impacted people to go out there and do this for everybody else. I mean, I
be the light in the darkness.
Yeah, I told everybody we're nobodies, and we just are called to do a little bit of work, which is a lot, but in the grand scheme of things, it's little and it's minute, and we're really not important. But it's vital to do that work so that he can show up and do the work that he's supposed to do. So, we've always talked about divine appointments, and there were so many more this year of divine appointments that happened, and it happened on a grander scale, I think, than ever before. Not that, we haven't had great baptisms, and we haven't had amazing stuff that happened before. This year it was on a whole nother level. So hopefully that was encouraging to you guys, and I think we've talked for way too long, and our baby is crying. But
I think she went back to sleep.
Okay, so maybe. But she did. So I think that's it. That was the Take on the World 21 wrap up.
We just wanted to share with everybody just the awesomeness that transpired there. So if you have more testimonials to share, please do send it our way. Send us the pictures. We're going to put together a whole collage like we normally do of a recap video with everything.
So that way
Can't
you
wait
can
to get
relive
started on
that every year. Now, I will say this, if you guys want to be a part of watching the presentations and being involved in all of that stuff, you have to go to YouTube. Right now, we're going to have probably, like Liz mentioned earlier, we'll have some other side accounts, like a BitChute or a Rumble. We're not sure on which one yet. And then we're going to be uploading all those presentations to Take on the World TV.
The ones that we can to YouTube.
And so we've been super lax on Take on the World TV.
We haven't been lax. We've just been so busy planning the
No,
conference.
we've all been pretty lax. So, and I speak for all the people on Take on the World TV. We haven't done videos. So Chad Schaefer has made it known that Disputed Lands is coming back on a regular basis. Don't know what that means, if that's weekly or bi-weekly. We're going to be bringing on some new people. Aaron Sampson, we're going to be bringing him over to Take on the World TV. I don't know if I leaked that too soon, but there's only 11 or 12 people watching it. So he's going to be continuing SITREP sometime probably in October. Of course, we're going to be doing a few other different shows. We're going to be in talk with a few other different groups, and then Flat Out Insights, and then maybe some other things that we have in store are going to be coming to Take on the World TV. So it's not just going to be conference uploads. We're going to try to revamp all the shows and the channels, because that's a great way to share and market if we're able to do Take on the World 2022. I know you guys would be upset if we didn't, because I think all the messages coming in. I look forward to next year.
Yes.
Look forward to next year. So we're going to just wait to hear that call. Once we get it, we're going to start promoting and planning it. So you'll know when that happens, because we'll share that out there. So make sure you guys go to Take on the World TV, and then the Take on the World community group on Facebook here, where it's a little easier. Our conference page gets so throttled, so we barely even post over there because nobody ever sees it.
Facebook doesn't allow it to get seen.
Yeah, because it's a business page. So right now the group pages work really well. So make sure you're a member over there. And again, I want you to make sure you're praying for all the speakers, all the attendees that may be a little bit under the weather from the conference. All the families still
traveling home. We had a lot of people that are driving from California and all over.
Yeah.
So they're probably still traveling home. So yeah, if you could pray over everybody that attended, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
And especially those who received healing and deliverance, that they're able to still stay the course.
Yeah. And who knows what the 2022 looks like, with this crazy world. So just be in prayer for that we're able still to meet in person. I think that's going to be so important. I don't know how many more years we have left of doing the conference. I don't know how many more years left of this world we have, but every moment and opportunity that we get, as long as he's giving us the okay to do it, we'll continue to do it. So we're going to rework probably a lot of things and make sure that they are
we
working
learned
a little
lot
better.
From this year.
Yeah, from the kids program to the teens program to the stages. So we're going to be working on that, figuring it out, making sure it works a little better. There's Chad. So if Chad, you want to give the thumbs up to Disputed Lands, if it's going to be weekly, bi-weekly, if you can hear me, go ahead and put that in there. And hopefully you'll say weekly, because we always loved Mondays. And it was great, especially in the wintertime, to put it on and hear Jeremiah Dirt, and then get Chad's heart for an hour. So I think that's it.
It is.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone that made it out to Take on the World, all your help. It was incredible. So we look forward to
all the moms, the dads who helped out.
Yes.
You guys were phenomenal. So so thank you guys, and all the people who didn't make it. I will say this. Take on the World, we had roughly almost 500 people at, and from the kids and adults, and I would say close to it was like 50 plus percent of new people. So most people had no clue what to expect. So I will say this: we've had 600 people before, and we've had another almost 500 at another one, and 300 at that.
At the first.
Yeah, so there's a lot of people who did not come this year, who are normals and regulars, who missed for the first time this year. So if we all came together with this same mission for this weekend, we may end up having like 800 people, which would be absolutely insane.
It would be.
But it would be an amazing time. So that's my hope, that all you guys who have come in the past come back and you rejoin us, because you guys are missed, because you guys are our friends. And then hopefully we've gained a whole bunch of new friends that Take on the World is that event that gets them prepped and ready for the whole rest of the year, and doing all the whether it be feast days with other groups that they've met for the first time, and connecting to just we have groups that now just vacation together. So there's so much. So hopefully something happened for all you guys this weekend, and he moved in your lives in a big way. And look forward to what the future holds. And if we have to take off another year because they do that craziness, hopefully we'll come back even stronger. So
let's hope that doesn't happen.
So pray against
that. That doesn't happen.
Pray against it.
But
fall is coming, so we don't know what's about to happen.
But thank you all again. We absolutely love each and every one of you. And do stay connected with us as much as you can, sending us your pictures and everything that transpired over the weekend. We cannot wait to hear it.
And sorry if we look like we're in the 1970s, even though I would have had longer hair. But with our tie dye.
Ours is a cool tie dye. Let's take on the world.
Yeah, well, nobody can see that. So thank you guys so much, and look forward to having you guys check out all the videos over at Take on the World TV on YouTube.
All right. Until
See you
next
guys.
time. See ya.